Today on the channel, we've got a big one in so many ways, as we've got the Marvel retro-style Spider-Man carded Rhino.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Marvel Legends unboxing and review. And today we've got something extra special. We've got Rhino from the Marvel Legends retro carded Spider-Man throwback wave. But remember, for all your Marvel Legends needs and a whole lot more, hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. And of course, for all your Marvel Legends discussion, check out the MLC Facebook group. Tell them Kyle sent you. So there you go as well. Now, Big Bad Toy Stores, who came through with this one, they seem to be the first one delivering on pre-orders. I believe fan channel exclusive for this one. So you're going to be looking to your GameStops, not your Targets, not your Walmarts, not even sure about Amazon, but your fan channel exclusives, your local comic shops, like I said, the GameStops, and things like that. But an interesting one here, as Rhino is big, oversized, large card, takes up a lot of real estate if you're putting these on the wall, mint on card, very similar to the Kingpin figure. And of course, we'll compare that at the end. But before we get into it, we got to do this like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We got to take a look at the packaging. We got to talk about it. We got to unbox it. We got to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. But first thing I got to tell you guys, I was so hyped up when they announced this on this card, as I had memories, great memories of the one of the all-time hardest toy hunts I've ever been a part of in my entire life. I've been on a lot of hard hunts. I've been on a lot of toy hunts going way back to the 80s. Like I've said on the channel, I've had my dad on the channel. We've collected toys for a long time. He's pretty much out of the game for the most part now. But we hunted a lot of things, especially the starting lineup days, hunting starting lineups. And I was hunting superheroes and wrestling figures along him when he was doing the superhero, or he was doing the starting lineup figures. Well, one of the all-time toughest hunts was the original Toy Biz Rhino figure. I don't know how many people remember back or how many people were collecting or hunting back then, but that Rhino was extremely tough to find, and that's what this is paying homage to. That figure was so hard as it did not ship with any of the cases, the first wave of the Spider-Man retro, or I guess it wasn't retro at the time, the Toy Biz Spider-Man figures, it did not ship with the sets it was supposed to. It was on the back of the card, but wouldn't ship anywhere. And I'm in stores all the time. My dad's in stores all the time. We're trying to find Rhino to no avail. And it really felt like it was going to be a Greg the Hammer Valentine situation, where there was at least a press release or not an advertisement showing him, saying, does he exist? Is he coming out? I don't know, but we could never find him. And then we later find out Greg Valentine didn't really exist. Same thing with the Nasty Boys. For whatever reason, Nasty Boys never hit my area as tag teams. Well, later on, when the internet came, I found out they were actually real and I could actually own them. Story for another day. But we could not find this Rhino. We looked and looked and looked. And I want to say it was like almost a year, but it was probably 6 months in young Kyle's brain. And we finally found the Rhino. Where did we find him? We happened to go to the mall, and there was a Dollar Tree at the mall. Yes, a Dollar Tree. Can you believe this? And they had pegs full of rhinos. Nothing else but Rhino. And it was, I think they were $1 or $2, something like that in the mid-90s. Just absolutely ridiculous. And I remember my dad and I just could not believe what we were seeing. Just absolutely insanity. Just so weird after we'd been on the hunt for so long for this Rhino to just stumble into a dollar store that we'd never go to, just off the beaten path. It was like a mirage. I felt like I was out in the desert without water for a couple of days, and I'm just starting to see things. That's what it felt like. But I did finally get that Rhino, but one of the hardest toy hunts I've ever been a part of. So I wanted to share that story before we get into it. Now, let's get into this Rhino from Big Bad Toy Store. Big, big, heavy. Of course, this was a Build-A-Figure in the Marvel Legends back in the day. Got some tweaks, got some updates here. I never got that Build-A-Figure. It's been a pricey one for a lot of years. I could never pull the trigger on it. Now I'm glad I did not, because I got this one at cost, you know, from Big Bad Toy Store. But you got the Marvel Comics, the old school logo, I love it. Old school Spider-Man logo, I love it. Love the glamour shot. Absolutely love everything about this packaging, as most do, especially if you grew up collecting the original line back in the day. And of course, there's so many other characters from this line I hope we get before things are all said and done. You get the Rhino, big, big, heavy-duty figure, like I mentioned. 2 extra hands and an extra head, so choose your own hand, choose your own head adventure. And for you real Rhino fans, you got to get 2 of these. We got a blurb back there. We got that cool artwork that we always saw. Artwork at the top, Spider-Man logos. Got that beautiful cross-sell of 90s goodness right down below. And then you got UPC's warnings, all that kind of fun stuff. So now we got to get them out of the package. And I think the best way to go is through the bottom. But like I said, very heavy-duty cardboard backing on this one. A very solid figure. Pull them out right there. And there it is. And we're off to the races with the big see you later. There it goes. See you later Spider-Man style. There it is. And then we get Rhino down to the plastic prison. The old plastic prison for Rhino. Look at that. Looking only like a Rhino could look on the retro card in 2022 is exactly what he looks like. No twist ties, anything like that. So we'll pull him out. Hopefully very tight in the package, these hands. There it is. Pop the head out. Pop the other hand. Oh, these hands. These hands are tight. Can I get it? Can I get that hand out of here? Give me a hand, Rhino. Maybe. Holy cow, he was taped in. He's broken. See you later. Off to the races. All right, put Rhino to the side. Now let's get down to it. Let's see these extra accessories. And we've got hands here. Very shallow peg holes on this one, so hopefully it fits okay. But it's two gripping hands here. Beautiful sculpt. Very nice Rhino hide effects. I mean, it definitely looks like Rhino skin, which always looks kind of dry and scaly, like it needs some lotion or something. A nice darker thumbnail to really offset this. Very cool, crazy hands. Wouldn't look terrible on a Grey Hulk figure, either of these hands. You could almost mix and match these if the peg holes fit, but definitely two cool hands. And you guys know I love fist. He comes with two fists on him. He's ready to throw down at a moment's notice, so we got that going on. Then we get an extra head, and we'll talk about the heads here in a second. But it's weird how this Rhino's heavy. Yes, heavier than a normal figure, but fairly light. I guess lighter than I thought it was going to be in my hand. So take note of that, I guess you would say. But man, this Rhino, once again, much like the hands, you get that nice Rhino skin, that Rhino hide pattern. I mean, it definitely looks like a Rhino skin if you've ever seen a Rhino at the zoo. Nice gray wash with some dark spots to really bring it out. Looks really good. Once again, the nails are a different color from the gray, so it really does set off. Same thing down with the toes. It's got the big Rhino toes here, the 3 toes, but the cracked skin throughout looks really good. I do notice no pinless joints here, no double jointed elbows, no double jointed knees, anything like that. So a little bit step back in the articulation department. But that being said, this isn't Spider-Man. He's in the Spider-Man line, but it's not Spider-Man. I don't need crazy, wild articulation with my Rhino figure. I'm just happy to have this Rhino figure after all these years for sure. But it definitely looks good. It looks like the Rhino. You know exactly who this is when you get it in hand. Very tight joints, which is a good thing. They should be tight out of the package. Running through the articulation, of course, you got the shoulders up, down, all around, swinging around. You get the bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, hands removable side to side, no up and down, but side to side on those. Same thing on the other side. Ab crunch, a little bit forward, not a ton. Really nothing back. I mean, not really an ab crunch at all. Very little, but you do get a little bit of this going on, so you can horn some guys. So you can get some nice figure photography going on with this guy, and we'll have some glamour shots as we always do, as you guys know. But the ab articulation, pretty light. Does have good waist articulation. You get a thigh swivel. You get single jointed knees, you get the ankle rocker up and down very tight, and you get good side to side on the ankle as well. So, like that articulation on the feet, so you should get them in some good positions if you need to. You see the head there. The head, the neck area, where it fits in, is a little bit of an eyesore there. I don't know. I wish it could be a little cleaner together. It's not terrible, but it's something that I noticed about the old Build-A-Figure one that we still see with here. But he does have, of course, that big face going on. Does look crazy, does look wild. He's got his teeth showing. He's all mad. He's angry. 2 horns up there, nice horn color. One thing I don't remember, and it's obviously here, and it was obviously on the last one, but the Rhino eyes on the side. That's pretty wild, actually. It really does look like a Rhino. If you cover up his face, that's a really cool look to him there. But head goes down pretty good for, once again, ramming people. You can get some good articulation. And goes a little bit more up than I thought it would as well. You do get some side to side, but it is limited by the shoulders just a hair. But very good look to him. You get this other head sculpt here, and this is a closed mouth one. I think I'm going the teeth one. That's the one I'm going to do. But same type of head going on here, but more of a closed mouth, more just hanging out, chilling version of Rhino. And you know what I just remembered? I didn't read the blurb on the back of the package. Let me grab that blurb. I got to see what it says about Rhino. After all these years, I'm not passing up that blurb. So hold on a second. We're going to read that blurb. All right, I'm back. I got way carried away here. I was so happy to get Rhino out of the package. I didn't even read the blurb. What are we doing of the day is what that is. And pick up the t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. What are we doing? Marvel's Rhino, former Russian mafia muscle. The Rhino possesses immense strength, near impregnable exo armor, and a stubborn grudge against Spider-Man. See you later once again. So yes, he does. So I'm here for this. I love this. I like this. This is sorely needed in my collection. Have to get this in with all my Spider-Man Rogue Gallery. Very excited to have him. And I guess I can finally retire my old Diamond Select Marvel Select Rhino. An interesting one. I do believe this one is a bootleg, though, as we do see a lot of Diamond Select bootlegs, and I believe this one is one of those. It got the job done for many a years, but I'm definitely moving up to the east side, to the deluxe apartment in the sky is what I'm doing here, and I'm going to replace this one. I don't know, I got a little rattle in here, too. A little baby rattle. Maybe I'll give it to a baby. Who knows? But definitely some differences here, but surprisingly similar size. The Select is still just a hair taller, but a good size on this Rhino. I'm here for it. I like it. And we're talking about size. You're talking about the Spider-Man Retro line. You got to compare that to the Marvel Kingpin. You guys remember Kingpin? Basically about the same height here. I guess the horns and the head put Rhino a little bit above, but Kingpin really, really good. Like this figure a whole lot. Like the Rhino figure a whole lot. So that is really cool to see the scale on these. And then let's check him against some Spider-Man figures. Here is the Diamond Marvel Select Spider-Man that recently came out. I really do like this Spider-Man a lot. Not crazy articulation, but you can see that. So he is a little tall compared to Rhino, but that's Marvel Select. He would fit more with this version of Rhino, of course. So you got that going on. Let me put him over here. He'll stay, and then Spider-Man will go right there. But then we got a recent Spider-Man, and one of my favorite Spider-Man is Ben Reilly Spider-Man, and maybe I'm just an absolute maniac when I say that, but I was all in on the clone Spider-Man saga, the Jackal, Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, all that kind of stuff. So I always had a soft spot. That was my prime comic reading days. I like those days. So I grabbed him off the shelf to compare size-wise of a Spider-Man against a Rhino, so you can see how that goes. But man, pick up this Rhino. Find him. Either go to the link in the description below, support the channel, go to Big Bad Toy Store, pick up your own Rhino. He should be shipping now, hopefully, if he's still in stock. But if you can't get it through there, play a little of that long game, whatever you do, you got to have this Rhino in your collection. Absolutely love it, and even better for me because I didn't have the old one. If you had the old one, maybe you can get away with skipping this one, or maybe time to upgrade. You got to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself that question. But for me, I'm definitely glad I picked this bad boy up, and it brings back all those memories to the old fateful Rhino hunt of the early 90s, trying to find the Toy Biz version with my dad. So a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool stories with this Rhino figure. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? You gonna pick it up? You gonna pass? Let me know in the comments. Of course, follow along on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. And of course, this video, make sure you like it, give it the old thumbs up. You made it this far. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell, and go follow along on Patreon, where you can find this video and many other videos much earlier on Patreon. And best of all, you get to support the channel. So for my boy Rhino, I am Kyle. See you guys all real